Some people are great at planning costumes and keeping a project book. They organize the thing, stick to their plans, and slay all deadlines. Their notebooks are neat, uniform, and organized, and this video is not for them. Okay, it is, but you'll probably find my observations hopelessly useless. This is for those of us who need some extra help planning, help finishing their projects, keeping a sewing notebook, or even starting out with their costuming journey. I'll talk about planning in general first, and then give some notes about keeping a planner or a sewing Bible. I'm not going to tell you how you must do the thing, but I'm just going to give you some stuff to think about. Planning a project. First up, establish your goal. Identifying your goal, however briefly or informally, can help your project become more successful. It helps you realize what your expectations are, it helps you direct your research, and it shows you what you're getting into. Your goal doesn't have to be, I want to make a completely historically accurate Regency wardrobe. It can be wanting to do something with that one fabric you have, practicing a technique, or just needing something to wear. The next step is to identify what you need to reach that goal. Whether a quick mental checklist or an elaborate write-up, think of the things you'll need before you start. Sometimes I just pick up a fabric and wing the rest, but for an elaborate project, you want to know what you're getting yourself into. For an intricate costume, think of all the components of your outfit. Make a list of underthings, outer garments, and accessories, and try to get this list as complete as possible. Then prioritize. If you determine which parts are essential and which are optional, you can make a more sensible decision when your deadline is approaching. Make an inventory of the things you'll need. Fabrics and notions, tools, patterns, books, etc. Establish which of these you already have and which you'll have to acquire. This also helps to get you an idea of the cost and the timeline of your project. Think about the sources and shops you're using for the materials. Make a shopping list and keep it with you. Establish which patterns you want to use or draft and keep track of the alterations you're making. Do you need to do any research or learn techniques? Try to find sources and document what you find out. When you know what needs to be done, determine a timeline. This can be very simple or quite complicated and defined. Deadlines, often related to events, can influence your timeline, as we all know. Whatever amount of time you have, giving it some shape and order can help you streamline a chaotic project. All steps take time. Research, preparations, fitting and making mock-ups are part of the process and will take time. Sewing the final garment takes time. Finishing and final touches often take a lot of time. Ordering books and materials, shipping takes time too. Remember that not all of your steps or parts of the outfit have priority. If you can identify the steps that aren't crucial to make an item wearable, keep them for last if your deadline is looming. This can also make a task seem less daunting because you're breaking it up into steps. Either collect all materials before you start or choose to space your purchase of materials. Please always buy enough of each material for a project because you'll never know if you can find an exact match again or even find it at all at a later point. Keep track of the time and money you spent, especially when you're working for a client. Getting more practical now, you'll have to find a place for your project while you're working on it. Making a project box or bin is a great idea, and it's also a means of preparation. If you keep your stuff together, there's less risk of losing things. And as an added bonus, it usually keeps fellow humans around you much more happy. It's also worthwhile to store your patterns carefully. If you can't decide on a fabric or a fabric match, you can keep your swatches somewhere visible to look at every now and again. Last but not least, embrace the process. You decide how much planning you want to do and what advice you want to take. If this is your hobby, you get to decide the rules. Embrace changes of plans. The plan isn't the goal, it's just the plan. Striving for perfection in technical execution or in historical accuracy can mean a lot of pressure. Realize that sometimes getting it done is better than trying to make it great, and that perfect can be the enemy of good. Just getting things done brings a lot of satisfaction, and so does improving your skills step by step. Cutting anxiety is a thing too. Mock-ups can help you practice and prevent expensive mistakes. Taking your time to lay out pattern pieces can also help. You can even lay them out on the floor to figure out how much fabric you're going to need to buy. Plannering a project. A sewing Bible can have various functions. It can be a planner, a logbook, a portfolio, or just a random aesthetically pleasing booklet. Use it in a way that serves your purposes best. A format or a template can help you get organized. I personally like working more intuitively, which gives me freedom to shape each project or project entry the way I like. Most notebooks will do just fine for your costuming plans, but some qualities can make your #planner life easier. Blank or dotted paper give you most versatility. Durability is important if you want to add lots of things to the pages. Binders and traveler notebook formats can allow you to reorganize and use different inserts. You can even find inserts specifically for swatching or for fashion designing, if you like. If you're worried about keeping your planner neat, work in pencil, make drafts first, and consider checking lists instead of crossing things out. Make sure to use suitable stationery. For example, markers that don't bleed and glue that doesn't mess with your paper. I like using double-sided tape for fabric swatches, for example. If you prefer working digitally, I've heard great things about the apps Trello and CosPlanner, but a Facebook page or even a simple spreadsheet can help too. What to include in your planner. Table of contents as well as making categories can be useful for reference. I don't use these. It implies a level of organization that I simply don't have. Each project gets its own entry. I just start and see how many pages a project needs, but you can also dedicate a separate page for each specific bit of information. A name, description, or a few keywords about your goal are a great start. This can include wishes of your client if you're working for someone else. And writing down the obvious things first can clear your head for new ideas. Lists. Write down lists of components of an outfit, materials, tools, sources, shops, patterns, and even machine settings. When you make an inventory, include a note on whether it is something you have, will buy, or will have to make. Good lists can help you shape your plan and keep track of your progress, and can help you with budgeting too. Include info on your research. Document information as well as sources and shops you're using. Include a way to track your time and the costs of a project. I don't, but you can. Very helpful to include our body measurements, especially if there are a lot of measurements or if you're working for someone else. Add visual prompts in your book, even if you already have a digital mood board, such as on Pinterest. Artistic or conceptual sketches can be included for inspiration. Inspirational pictures or artwork that you print out and paste in. Technical or practical drawings, a color scheme, and pictures of your finished item can give you a more portfolio-like function. Samples of fabric or notions can have various practical and decorative uses. It might be useful to add details like fiber content, source, amount in stock, and intended purpose. Some people like to use a separate book or binder to catalog their stash. Add information about your pattern, such as source, name and number, and size you're making. You can keep track of alterations on the pattern, or on the instructions themselves, or in your notebook. Write down any difficulties you have or things you've learned. I have 5 planning tips for beginners. Number 1. It's always fastest to make a costume that you already have the right undergarments for, or a costume that you already have some parts of. Number 2, make something you love and something that makes you feel good and not something that other people think you should make. If this means you're not starting with a simple project, or it means you're not starting with the undergarments, so be it. Sew the fancy dress, make the nice thing. More opportunities to learn and grow will come. Number 3. You can plan a costume to combine handmade with bought or borrowed things. If you like, you can plan to replace them with handmade things step by step. Number 4. To get better, you often have to ask questions. Asking specific questions and well-directed questions can help you get better answers. Do a bit of research and organization before you ask, and your replies might get you much further. And number 5, watch Costuming Drama's 35 Essential Tips to Start Costuming, and do the thing. And I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. I guess I'll have to ask you to like, subscribe, comment and click the bell icon now. So please do those things if you like my video. See you next time. Bye!